started to make the argument. I said, listen, it's very simple. 600,000 Americans will die from this disease this year. Let me start with that. 1,500 Americans a day, all too devastating. If 6 jumbo jetliners started falling out of the sky every day, we would come up with the money. We would come up with the funding. We would start to ask questions. We would not back down. It's been 40 years since Richard Nixon declared war on cancer. And we've made some tremendous progress. I stand here today as somebody that considers themselves a success of that effort, of that war effort. But with that, obviously there are other people that have different outcomes. There are different stories. There's different people affected, and people are left behind. They're left to ask, why? Why my mom? Why my sister? Why my brother? Why my friend? Why my colleague? Why my senator? Why Elizabeth Edwards? You can ask why a lot. You know, my journey really to this building started in this city in 1996 when I was diagnosed, and I was a young athlete, had won a lot of bike races already at that point, but really felt invincible. I started having these symptoms that I ignored and thought they were sort of part and parcel of being an athlete, little pains and aches here and there. Eventually I was diagnosed, and my journey down to the doctor's office for that diagnosis is very similar to the journey that people will make here. I don't know where they come from, if they come from this building or if they come from 5 blocks north or 5 blocks south, or if they come from Bastrop. I don't know where they come from. They're going to walk through these doors and they're going to have the very same questions, preguntas, that I had. And they're going to ask these questions and they're going to want answers, and they're going to know what their chances are. They're going to want to know who's going to pay for it. They're going to want to know the side effects. They're going to want to know if they can go back to work, if they can have kids, what their quality of life is going to be like. We can never forget that this is really all about this navigation center. Like yesterday, the guy said, well, boil it down. Start with your best argument. I can boil this down. It's all about your quality of life. Making sure that not only people survive, but that they thrive. And so, really comparing and contrasting those two journeys, I think it's safe, at least for me to say, based on my experience, I have been given my life back, and I've been given the opportunity to work, to have a family, to have the highest quality of life that even better than I ever imagined. The inspiration for this building, I think it's important to take a second to tell that there's a guy on our board by the name of Dr. Harold Freeman. He's a legendary oncologist in America. He has a center in Harlem that really was the inspiration for this, and Doug and I would visit for many, many times. I never forget, I grew up in Plano, and I spent most of my life here in Austin. It's very different than Harlem, safe to say. I'd never been to Harlem, so we go to Harlem and we're walking the halls of the Ralph Lauren Cancer Center there that Dr. Freeman started in. And he says, he was very proud. He got a new colonoscopy unit. He was showing off these things. He was talking about the cancer dilemma in the United States. He was talking about those 600,000 deaths. He reminded me that 200,000 of those deaths never had to take place. We have the medicine, we have the technology, we have the information to cure those people. He stops me in the hallways about, you can imagine, how old's Harold? He's 75? 75. African-American man. When this man talks, I mean, it's like E.F. Hutton walked in. Everybody listens. He stops me and he says, Lance, those 200,000 deaths, that's the difference between what we know and what we do. And as long as that delta exists, and here's the key, and this is what stopped me, and this is what inspired this building, as long as that exists, that is a moral and ethical failure in the United States of America. So it doesn't matter if you're rich or you're poor, you're Republican, you're Democrat, you speak English, you speak Spanish, you live in East Austin, you live in West Austin, it doesn't matter. Everybody deserves the best outcome possible. And until we fix it, and it's centers like Dr. Freeman's, it's centers like this, that I think can go along with it, until we fix it, we can only say that we're failing with regards to that aspect, morally and ethically, and we have to change it, we have to turn it around. So we're so proud that it's finally, we've talked about this for years, and obviously having Dr. Freeman on the board has been a big help. But now it's a reality, and now the doors are open, and now we look forward to the stories. I'm standing here telling you my story. I drove from my home in West Austin down to the doctor's office near St. David's. I'm telling you, I'm sharing this story with you, and you're listening, I think. We want those stories to come out of this navigation center where people walk out and they said, here's what I walked in with, and look at me today. That's what we want, that's what we need, and I feel quite certain that's what we'll have. So thank you all for your support, thank you for being here, and please, if you ever need us, don't forget, we're not just a building here, we're not a navigation center here, we're your partners. So come help us be your partners, and we'll be here for you as long as we need to be. Thank you all. I have one last duty of mine. You know, I've been to a lot of places, and they always give you a key when you go somewhere. Key to the city, or a key to, do they do keys to the state? Key to a country. I think I have the key to France. Well, anyway, so we thought it would only be appropriate that we give out a key to the Navigation Center to Representative Rodriguez, Congressman Doggett, Senator Watson. And this is, I hope they never need to walk through those doors, but you never know. But this will be y'all's key, and this represents, this is the key here. This key, it is the key, but the emphasis is it represents your constituents. This is their key to our Navigation Center.
Thank you so much to everybody for being here and for being a part of this vibrant community. We can't thank you enough for your support, and we would just ask you that when you leave today, when someone in your family or your community or your school or your neighborhood says, oh my gosh, I heard that someone was diagnosed, if you would just direct them our way. That's the best service you can do for them and hopefully for us in getting the word out to more and more people so that we can serve and improve the quality of life for literally thousands of people here in Central Texas who will be impacted by this disease. So on behalf of our entire staff and our board and our team, we're just grateful to have you, as Lance said, as partners. We encourage you to stay. There's going to be music. There's lots of prizes. Take the tour inside. Meet some of our partners who are all here talking about their work. Lance said he sees there's beer. There are empanadas, there's lemonade, there's Amy's ice cream, but this is meant to be a community party. So stay, enjoy, and thank you so much for your support.